When most coaches want to increase their close rates, they focus on getting better at selling, better scripts, better objection handling, better sales techniques. But here's the thing, I'm Mehdi, and after working with over 600 plus coaches and generating over $7 million in client revenue, I found that the real leverage is somewhere else entirely. The best coaching businesses don't close deals on the call. They create buyers who are pre-sold before the call even begins. In fact, this is something I recently broke down for a room full of 6- and 7-figure coaches at my private mastermind in Dubai, where they each paid $5,000 to be in that room. And if I wanted to consistently close 40% or more of my sales calls, this is exactly the system that I built. By the end of this session, I'm going to be walking you guys through exactly how to engineer a sales system that pre-sells before the call, closes with conviction, and of course, continues selling way after the call ever ends, all right? Sales is my favorite thing. I'm a fucking salesman, all right? I've sold so many people in this room on so much shit already. I've been selling Cameron on a bunch of new fucking health routines.
That's true.
Yeah, so this is a system that turns traffic into cash predictably. Everyone thinks scaling means new funnels, new ads, new hires, and whilst that might be true, the best founders that I know scale by control and not chaos, okay? You don't need 10x more traffic, you need 10x more conversions from the same traffic. When you can learn that skill, you're gonna make ungodly amounts of cash. So according to HubSpot, which is one of the biggest CRMs, you guys know HubSpot? It's one of the biggest CRM systems. 79% of inbound leads never convert, not because they're bad leads, but because the sales process is broken. And they have data across a fuckload of businesses, all right? So by the end of the session, I'm gonna show you guys exactly how to understand the exact systems that turn traffic into very, very predictable revenue. So most people obsess over booking more calls, getting more traffic, so on and so forth. But personally, the one thing I obsess over, all right, is controlling what happens before, during, and after the sales calls. And arguably, so many people fuck that up. They're just like, I want more traffic, I want more book calls. But the truth is, even if they got that volume of new traffic or that new volume of book calls, most of them aren't even optimized to convert, right? So the truth is, you don't win in the call, you win in the pre-frame and the post-frame of the call, okay? The call is just the battle, but it's not the war. That's why I call it the conversion war plan, all right? So there's 3 battlefields of conversion. There's before the call, which is pre-selling and priming. There's during the call, which is diagnostic and of course certainty transfer. And there's after the call, which is follow-up, reactivation, and reminder of certainty, all right? If you can control these 3, what you can do is predictably control your revenue, which is sick.
Can you just go back a second and make it
Yeah. You guys wanna take a picture? Feel free to do so. All right, so behind those 3 battlefields is one very, very, very powerful thing, a conversion operating system. So as you guys can see, we've been breaking down different operating systems. You have the Trust OS, you have the other OSs, Traffic OS. You guys gotta fucking bear with me a little bit, all right? But the Conversion OS is a system that controls who gets on your calendar, how they show up, how ready they are, how easily they buy, how long they stay, and how much they're worth. And for me personally, these are the constant questions I'm asking myself when it comes to conversions and sales, all right? Who the fuck gets on the calendar? And of course, I'm gonna give you guys some banging examples in just a sec. You wanna take a pic? Go for it. All right, cool. So this is what actually scales a coaching business, right? And that's exactly why I called the session your conversion war plan. I'm gonna give you 5 systems that will double your revenue without adding new leads, okay? So for me personally, if you guys haven't noticed already, I'm the biggest fucking high ticket buyer of all time. I buy so much expensive shit for no fucking reason, apart from the fact that I like buying stuff. But I also love being sold to, right? So I'll give you an example. When I went to GTA Motors, which is a very famous fucking franchise that sells cars in Dubai, the closers were selling me, and I walked into a dealership, and the way they approached me, I was like, this fucking sucks. If I do end up buying a car from these guys, I'm gonna offer them some fucking sales training for their team to help them become better salespeople. And I'm always analyzing how people sell to me, right? I was breaking down, like, what did this guy do correctly, right? For example, when Will sold me his mastermind last year, I was analyzing how he sells. He goes, he's a very shameless salesperson, but that shows a very high level of conviction and certainty in what you sell. So be very shameless in your approach with sales, okay? Zayn and I were having a conversation with someone yesterday about this, but the more confident you are talking about money with your prospects, the more money you're gonna make, right? It's a very simple thing, but you'll learn in a second why it's super fucking important, right? I also love selling. So what I'm about to show you isn't theory. I've taken over 10,000 hours worth of sales calls. I've pretty much been taking sales calls every fucking day, 7 to 8 hours a day, even in some cases like 12 hours a day, since the age of 16, up until last year where I kind of removed myself from the phone, right? I've single-handedly closed over 1,500 sales myself, looked at the CRMs, trackers, been through every prospect you can fucking imagine, rich, broke, young, old, crazy, right? I've had some very interesting experiences on calls. And I've closed millions of dollars worth of cash collected. I've trained over 200 plus coaches and sales reps. I wear this like a badge of honor, but there's no single sales rep that I've ever closed that closes under 50K a month cash collected, right? I'll give you guys a quick story. I had a closer about 4 years ago. And this guy used to work for Avis, car rental company. And he used to work in his dad's kebab shop, right? When I met the guy, he couldn't fucking close the door, right? So I know you guys were talking about A players and B players and C players. This guy was a fucking C player, right? Complaining about all the leads, everything like that. I trained him up, I taught him how to sell, and I took him to 50K a month cash collected. And of course, we went separate ways. He, joined another role and so on and so forth. But now he's closing at 150K a month cash collected. So I might know a thing or two about sales, right? And all that experience, I've kind of boiled it down to 5 simple conversion systems that you can deploy in your business today to increase your conversions, all right? First one is leverage. Second one is lead qualification. Third one is pre-selling. Fourth one is core selling. And then last but not least, we have post-selling, all right? These are the 5 core systems that's active within your sales process, whether you like it or not, all right? Cool. Hey, you wanna grab?
Is it leverage or leverage?
I personally say leverage. Anyone that says leverage, it's like, I was trying to say cleavage. You know what I mean? Well, why'd you go, to cleavage?
What? I was thinking about that.
Yeah. So, listen guys, by the end of the session, you guys will know exactly which one of these is leaking revenue within your business, but more importantly, exactly how you can patch it. Because if you can master the skill of selling at scale, you'll never go without clients again, or cash, or nice things in life, all right? One of the first books I read in sales was a book called The Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer. You guys ever read it? The Sales Bible by Jeffrey Gitomer. I have a picture of myself, I should have fucking put it up on the screen. And the first lesson I learned about sales is I sell shit to people so I can buy myself cool shit. And that's the first lesson I learned at 15. And I was like, that sounds pretty fucking good. Yeah. It's a banging book, all right?
Jeffrey Dahmer.
No, see? Will's problematic. All right, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Let's fucking go. So chapter 1, let's break down leverage, okay? Leveraging your metrics. So here's how to double your revenue without more leads. The 50 to 100K per month math, same leads, double the cash, all right? So single-handedly, who here tracks all the metrics in their business? Fucking G. G. You just wanted G points.
Yes, I did.
All right, fair enough. I don't blame you. Feels good to be called a G. Anyways, point of the matter is like your sales metrics, right? The reason it's so important to track this stuff is because once you actually track, and I used to be fucking horrible at tracking, by the way. I made my first $1 million cash collected without tracking. But here's what that led to. When I had a shitty month, I couldn't figure out why. And the problem that I was actually trying to solve wasn't the real fucking problem at hand. So you build your business off of lies, right? There's a really good fucking book. I don't remember the exact name. It's called Something to Do with Truth. I'll find out the name. But it has a page where there's a dot on the page, right? And when you flick it from a certain angle, you can't see the dot, right? But when you flick it to a certain angle, you can see the dot. My point with this is, your brain, if it operates based off something that it believes is true, you're leading based off fucking false information. You know what I mean? So it's the same with your business. Like, if you are not tracking your metrics and you're like, oh, I think my lead quality is shit. Really and truly, like, your lead quality could be banging. It's just your closing rates that suck. You know what I mean? So, for example, once you track your metrics, one of the easiest ways to make a shitload of more cash is to manipulate your numbers. But you can't manipulate the numbers unless you know exactly what they are, right? So I wanted to show you guys an example of baseline and then optimize, right? So let's say, for example, you guys get 120 leads or 120 book calls a month. It's not a crazy amount of book calls, very, very attainable, right? If your baseline is like 40% of those leads are qualified, you got 48 leads, right? If your show rate's 70%, that's 34 shows. If your close rate is 30%, then of course that's 10 closes. And then if your AOV, your average order value is $5,000, your total cash collected for the month is gonna be about 50K, right? Now, if you had the same exact number of book calls, and the only thing that you did is incremental increases on these exact numbers, you're doubling your cash. For example, your qualified lead rate goes to 50%. That's 60 leads that you now have that are qualified, okay? You increase your show rate slightly. That's 48 show ups, okay? Close rate increases by just 5%, not even a ridiculous increase. That's 17 closes, and your AOV goes up by $1,000, meaning the average amount that you're collecting on the phone is just slightly more. It's $1,000 more, right? Now you're making $102,000 a month with the same leads. But the problem is most founders are like, oh, I need more traffic, I need more traffic. But because they're not tracking the fucking numbers, they don't know how to make these lifts or whether they should even make these lifts. You know what I mean? So now that you know this, right, the formula is qualified leads, X show rate, X close rate, X AOV, which equals your revenue, all right? You guys want to take a picture? You guys are welcome to do so. Gives me time to drink new tonic. All right. So this is how you as founders go from working harder to working smarter, because the moment that you can predictably control your inputs, scaling becomes math, all right? Now, funny enough, I sucked at math in school, ironically, okay? But it's one of the easiest ways to manipulate your business to make a shitload more cash, all right? But the question that you guys are probably asking yourselves right now is, look, that sounds good, the table looks cute, but how do I actually implement this in my business? How do I actually achieve these lifts? And that's exactly what I'm gonna show you guys. You can do so by pulling these 4 levers with your metrics, all right? So lead quality obviously increases qualification, right? Show rate is done through your pre-selling. That's a lever that you can pull. Your close rate is down to core selling, and your lifetime value is all down to your post-selling process, all right? If you guys want me to go at a slower pace, I'm happy to do so.
Yes, please.
Yes, please. No stress. So truth is, like I said before, you don't need miracles, you just need micro improvements, 10% here, 5% there, and all of a sudden, you're doubling your cash collected, all right? So if the lever is qualification, the fix is better setters and tighter forms, okay? Again, I'll show you this much more in depth. If you're struggling with show rate, it's what you're doing in the 24 to 72 hour pre-sale window. And if it's your close rate, then I'm gonna show you guys a 5C framework. Not the same thing as Charlie Johnson, something different, okay? And if it's your AOV, you're missing a layered offer design. I know it sounds like a bunch of fucking jargon, but I promise you guys I'll break down some very, very tangible examples that you guys can use, all right? If you guys want, I can just give you the slide deck for this after. Yeah? All right, because we're gonna be here forever. I'm gonna run out of Newtonic at this rate. So, look, this is the reason why operators scale faster than hustlers, because they understand leverage. Funny thing is, I was gonna add this, I completely forgot. Warren Buffett, so he's a fucking multi-billionaire and so on and so forth, right? He wanted to make an extra $1 billion. All he did is raise the price of Coca-Cola by like 1 cent, all across the board. That's leverage, right? You make a very, very small change and tweak somewhere, and it has a massive fucking impact at scale. You've probably experienced this, haven't you?
Probably added about 30 million
Yeah.
leads a year
Yeah.
by like a 2% change in margin.
Yeah. That's fucking sick. So there you go. That's a live
I'll give another example. Like yesterday on the sales call that I closed for $3,000, like I used this pre-sale.
Use the mic.
Which one?
It's right here.
The pre-sale that I used like a short show, like a video, like client measure video, and also I sold like in addition, like I added another gift, which is like the AI system, like a couple of like customized ChatGPT prompt that you were talking about yesterday, instantly sold. You know, because like the guy just didn't know anything about ChatGPT, saying, no, I'm AI like a dinosaur. in a laptop sort of setup for sure.
Yeah.
You know.
It's sick, man. So the thing is, you don't need to pull all 4 levers, all right? Because the thing is, I don't want to teach you guys a bunch of shit and you're like, I have to implement all of them at once. Just focus on building one at a time. And one small tweak is going to compound everything for you guys. So let's go through each one. Number 1 is lead qualification, all right? So this is the lead qualified multiplier. Here's how to get more qualified leads without actually having to get more leads, all right? So most of you say you want more qualified leads, but what you want is better marketing to sales alignment, all right? So if you're constantly booking unqualified calls, it's not your setter's fault, it's a messaging problem. So here's what I did that completely changed the game for me, and it'll do the exact same for you, right? Make a list of your top 10 clients, all right? The ones that paid the most amount of money, the ones that got the fastest results, and the ones that required the least amount of babysitting. Because we all have nightmare clients. We've all had a run-in, okay? My biggest nightmare client was this guy called William Brown. Fucking horrible guy. I'm joking. And what you want to understand, okay, is why did they hire you? What challenges were they facing before they joined? And what was the buying trigger that made them say that I'm in? Find the pattern, all right? A really good example of this, right? So I live in a DMAC building and they're constantly fucking advertising this new DMAC island, right? Now bear in mind, I don't want to get cancelled by Dubai, but DMAC is shit, from my experience, right? Don't buy in DMAC. But the point of the matter is, they're very, very smart. And there's someone sitting there in the DMAC headquarters that really understands who their top client base is, right? And the way I kind of reverse engineered this process is I was looking at a massive billboard of DMAC Islands. They have all these Indian movie stars, right? Like these Bollywood actors in the new launch of their fucking DMAC Islands. And that led me to realize that there's a very high probability that most of DMAC's clients, the highest paying ones, are Indian, right? So they're constantly in a cycle of just narrowing down who their top spenders are, who their top clients are, and optimizing their marketing message towards those people. Go on.
You've got no spenders there.
If you have no spenders, you need to get some fucking clients through the door using the other things we broke down. And then refine using this. You understand? But it's good to have this in your pocket early on. You know? So when I realized that my best clients had traffic but no conversions, I stopped making ads for beginners, right? My hook changed from here's how to get more leads to here's how to convert the leads that you already have, right? It's the same offer, but 3 times better buyers. They would pay much higher amounts, they would stay for longer and renew for longer, right? Like Kennedy, for example, you've probably noticed out of all the clients that you've coached so far, Amber, one of your clients, is fucking G, right? And she got very quick results and very good results. But why? It's because she already had traffic. She just didn't have to monetize it. And you helped her with that. Yeah? Can we give Kennedy a round of applause? All right, my worst clients, the ones that paid late, needed consistent hand-holding, they needed everything, right? Traffic, systems, mindset, offers, sales, 100 different things, right? So my point is, whenever you get clients, most people miss a very crucial step, which is analyzing their top clients, why they bought, what their buying triggers were, and refining their market more and more towards those people, right? Years ago, I think like back in 2015, 2016, one of my very first like mentors that I had, he got one of his highest paying clients that removed a massive limiting belief. The guy spent like $150,000 with him up front for a package called Pink Diamond. Come to his house, coach him in person, and he was an accountant. He was a very, very wealthy accountant for very, very rich people, right? And he just started to make more ads for more accountants just like the guy. And through having a conversation with him, he studied why he bought. He understood his buying triggers. He used that to create ads and found a few more clients like him. You know what I mean? Very, very powerful. In my case, I changed my targeting overnight. And of course, it helped, right? So my hook kind of changed. And the way you tailor that hook is you ignore the first problem that the brokies have, right? So if the brokies have no leads, right? You get consistent views, your content gets views, you got testimonials, but why is your sales calendar still empty? You guys remember that ad from yesterday? Maybe? All right, cool. So instantly my lead quality doubled because I was finally speaking directly to my highest value buyer, right? So here's a few things that you can do, right? Who are my top 10 easiest, highest paying clients? Identify the real ICP, the highest paying ICP. What common pain or problems did they have? Spot the relatable messaging triggers. Why did they buy now? Okay, because what you're gonna notice is the people that are your highest ICP have different buying triggers to the people that are not really your ICP, okay? So, for example, one person might want to buy because they're on a shoestring budget and they're desperate and they just have to fucking make this work. And that might not be your ICP. The other person wants to buy because they've had previous positive coaching experiences with other coaches and they're looking to level up, and you happen to be a specialist in the thing that they want to level up in. You know what I mean? There's different motivations, different buying triggers behind them, right? What did they already have working? And this is something that people massively ignore when trying to find their ICP. So in my example, I was like, hey, your content's dialed in, right? You already have testimonials. I know who I'm speaking to, right? A beginner is not going to relate to that. I mean, like, this is above my pay grade. You know what I mean? So if you identify the things that they already have working, it's easier to speak to them, right? And you can start to incorporate that within your hook. And then really create a filter for who you don't want, right? Like BMW is very good at this. They shit on people that hate electric cars. So they shit on people that want electric cars, right? Andrew Tate is another really, really good example of this, okay? He's a master at repelling people that don't fit within his ICP, and he's built a massive, massive tribe. You know what I mean? So now that you understand that, let's talk about how, okay, now that you know how to increase your qualified leads, let's talk about how to pre-sell them. Arguably, pre-selling is sick, okay? This is where most founders are bleeding a shitload of money in the pre-selling process, right? Now there are so many things that I could fucking talk about when it comes to pre-selling, some very high level stuff, but this is some of the most powerful stuff that's gonna move the needle for you guys. Cameron, I overheard you talking about the hammer them strategy. Fucking sick, yeah. Anyways, conversion system 2 is pre-selling. When someone books a call with us, the sale starts immediately, not the appointment, right? Most people fuck this up. They just book someone in, oh, I got a book call. Show up to the meeting and then try to do everything there, right? The sales call should start way before that ever happens. And obviously with the profile funnel that you guys have learned, it starts the fucking second that someone discovers you. You know what I mean? So we strategically and intentionally make people book out 24 to 72 hours. So for example, if I had a call with Vadim's like, yo, I need help with this, we'll book him out 48 to 72 hours, right? And the reason why is A, it's good for show rates. So personally, you guys shouldn't really book anyone past the 72-hour mark. We've tested it a shitload of times, and the show-up rates decrease. And you guys have seen how crucial show-up rates are to the average amount of money that you make every single month, right? And that window in between is absolutely fucking crucial, like I can't express, right? Think back to the time that you bought something high ticket, right? So when I was in buying mode for the Porsche, I put a deposit down on one of the Porsches. It was a perfect fucking spec. It took me 6 months to find the car, right? Welcome to Dubai, someone ended up buying it, even though I put a deposit on it, right? So I had like a 72-hour window that I gave myself to basically purchase the car, right? And there was a bunch of dealerships I went to. I probably saw 20 cars and my brain was in information overload. At some point I was thinking of fucking it and buying a Lambo, right? Point of the matter is, there's one company that stood out exceptionally well. Exotic Cars. These guys phoned me, these guys answered every fucking question I had. They sent me walk around videos of the car. They told me why I should still stick to a Porsche over a fucking Lambo. At one point I was thinking about buying a GT3 and they brought me back to fucking reality, right? So in the end,
What did they say?
they told me, it's like, you know bro, you wanted a Turbo S for 6 months. You might as well get a Turbo S. It's faster, it's more comfortable. You got your wife with you. She's gonna get fucking sick of the GT3.
Is it more expensive?
No, GT3 is cheaper.
Oh, okay.
Funny enough, the Lambo and the GT3 are both cheaper than the Turbo S. But anyways, they used that 72-hour time frame where there's so much information that was going through my head to fucking hammer the shit out of me, and I ended up spending $250,000 with them. You know what I mean? So it works. And your clients are the same. You're not special, right? They're weighing you up against every fucking other person that's saying the same shit as you, right? Your clients, here's some statistics. Go on.
You know, you said that getting people to book for 24 to 72 hours, the first call, or let's just say now you've got a prospect, what do you want to be as fast as you can, just get them on the board so you can close it? That working with speed.
Good question. And the thing is, yeah, ideally, yeah, like even 24 hours is a good window. But we personally want to use the in-between time to indoctrinate them and send them a bunch of resources. Because sometimes And again, like this is down to availability. I've tested both. I've closed in both scenarios, but I found that it typically works better. And when you generate a bit more volume, you're gonna see that you're gonna have to book them out 24 to 48 hours in advance anyways. In a second, I'm gonna show you some banging things that you can implement in between, which is gonna make it not even worthwhile to take a call same day.
I just thought with speed. Yeah, I just thought with speed.
Yeah.
Someone that wants to take a call straight now.
If there's someone that's hot, ready, like, yo, I've seen everything, I'm ready to go, then of course, just take the call and close. But most of the prospects you're gonna get are not there yet. They still have unanswered questions or certain things that they're unaware of that you wanna get in front of them before you speak to them. You understand? So your clients, answer your question?
Yeah, thank you.
Sweet. So your clients see 1,500 pieces of content every single day, 4,000 to 10,000 ads a day, and 100 to 300 different offers, right? Just imagine, we walk through Dubai Marina, we're seeing a fuckload of ads. Maybe we don't register all of them consciously, but we see a shitload of ads, right? All within a single day. Now multiply that in between the amount of days between when you book the call and when someone shows up for the call. It's a lot of data that they're processing. So that's what you guys are up against, okay? Which is why pre-selling is crucial, yet 90% of coaches, service providers ignore it or have a weak ass process, all right? So here's how you can weaponize that window in your favor so that you can clean up and be crowned as a clear choice, all right? So this is a 3-phase pre-selling framework. Number 1 is a pre-call VSL, okay? So this isn't like your regular VSL, right? You have your regular VSL, which is obviously, we spoke about yesterday. You explain who you are, what you're offering, why the old method sucks, why your new method is better, client testimonials, right? But here's one of the things that we've incorporated 30 minutes before the call that we strategically send out, right? Now, of course, we don't stick to it specifically 30 minutes. Sometimes we do it a little bit earlier in the day because some people might not get to it, right? But we create a pre-selling video. And this pre-selling video is fucking fire, right? I'll show you guys a video.
Hi, I want to give a long shout out to Mehdi.
I knew Mehdi. We've since now generated close to 100K.
$600,000, $89,000,
$17,000,
£30,000, $30,000.
15K.
Here, he was able to give me complete clarity about my high-ticket offer, who my target audience is, and how to implement it right away.
They helped me build and
I'm gonna skip it a little bit so you guys can see.
Next level.
In the next 30 minutes, you're either going to change the direction of your business forever, or you're going to go back to doing things the same way that you've always done them. And I don't say that to be dramatic. I say that because every single one of those people that you just saw started off with a single call like the one that you're about to have. And the only difference between them and everybody else is they were ready to think differently. This isn't just another one of those free Zoom calls. It's not some generic strategy session where I try to impress you with buzzwords or pitch you into buying some crappy course. This is a real conversation with someone that's done this over and over and over and again. I mean, I spent 10 years in that space and I've generated over $4 million within the info space. And my job is very simple. It's to help you uncover what's really keeping you stuck. It's to show you the things that are actually working right now that took me years to discover and map out how you can actually scale in a way that finally makes sense. Because I've been where you're at and it sucks. Like not knowing what to do, waking up, doing another post and so on and so forth. And I get it. You've probably invested into courses. Maybe you've even hired a coach before. You've tried to post some more content to get more leads and hustle harder, but nothing ever gave you the consistent results that you wanted. And I've experienced it myself. I used to sit there and post 12 times a day on Instagram, stories, reels, and just hope for one of those things to work. And the reason these things aren't working for you is not because you suck. It's because you were sold tactics without context, advice without accountability. It's almost like someone giving you a car without showing you how to drive the damn thing. They were selling you strategies that were built for someone else's business, not specifically yours. And here's the thing, that ends now. This session is about you, your goals, and your gaps, and the exact steps that you need to be taking to start moving forward in your business and seeing some tangible results. Not just sitting there in guess purgatory where you kind of have to figure out your next step by scrolling on Instagram, wondering what other people are doing, and trying to copy what they do, because it never really works. I'll be real with you. This session isn't just about feeling inspired. This session is more about you getting clarity on what's missing and how we could potentially work together if it's a fit. Because Because the truth is, more information isn't your problem. Execution is. You don't need another YouTube video. You don't need another course. You don't need another PDF or any of that stuff. You need accountability, systems, and to work with someone who's done it before by your side. Now, if you're skeptical, I get it. Most people are. There's always another coach. There's always another person making wild, outlandish guarantees that promise to get you results. But instead of doubting yourself, scroll down. Literally, below this video, there is countless case studies, like minus the ones that are on my YouTube channel and my Instagram. Check them out, because those exact people were once in the same exact session that you were about to enter, also skeptical, also confused, also worried about how they were going to grow their business. And by watching what others have done with the same opportunity that you have right now, might just inspire you to do what it takes. If you show up coachable, honest, and ready to play at a high level. If that's you, show up, be on time, lock the kids up, no distractions, no pet dogs. For the love of God, do not be driving, because the minute we see you on camera driving, we're going to hang up, block you, and you'll never hear from us again. Here's the deal. You've got business goals that you want to achieve. You've told yourself over and over and over again, this is important for you, your family, your loved ones, the people around you. You're not here by accident. This is your shot if you treat it like your shot. So let's make it count and let's make it happen. My journey changed over one simple call. Countless clients of mine have changed over one simple call. Their lives will change over a simple call just because of the way they showed up. So don't be that guy or girl. Show up and let's make it count for you.
All right. What do you guys think? How do you think people are going to show up to the sales call after watching a video like that?
Full of energy. Yeah, 100%.
Full of energy, right? What do you guys think was done well inside that video?
The way you spoke.
Where I spoke, but more importantly, addresses the narrative that's going through their head when they enter a call, right? Like when I was at Will's Mastermind earlier this year and I was sitting down with Sabri, one of the things that the guy said is, he's like, people have a fucking narrative in their head about how calls are gonna go. And there's a very negative stigma attached to sales calls, because buyers are getting more and more advanced. They're familiar with the sales process, you know what I mean? So this addresses all the previous frustrations and pains that they've already gone through up until this point, right? Imagine every time you fucking go to a car dealership, right? You're sick of being hustled, you're sick of being like, you know, drilled, and when are you gonna buy? Are you actually gonna buy? And it's like, before you go to a different car dealership, they show you a little video which is like, hey man, I know you wanna get behind the wheel of your dream car, right? I know you're sick and tired of people asking you whether you're actually gonna buy or not. We don't give a shit about whether you buy or not. We wanna find you the right car. If you wanna test drive 10 different cars, you're welcome to do so. We wanna make sure that you walk out with the perfect car. How much more would you trust that car dealership? A lot more, because they've addressed the narrative that you've already experienced, the negative stigma that you've experienced with previous car dealerships. You know what I mean? And we've got a fuckload of positive reactions from people that have watched this video. I think one of these is Kennedy, somewhere. There you are, Kennedy. You're a red DP, right? So introducing this increased our close rate. The month that we introduced this, upped our close rate by 13% in that particular fucking month, right? It reduced the average sales call time down from 1 hour and 15 minutes, because we track our sales call time across Fathom, right? To 50 minutes. And that's 25 minutes per the average sales call. Now we average, let's say on the low end, 5 sales calls per day. That's 125 minutes, i.e. 2 hours saved, right? That can be deployed to another sales generating activity, right? So if you guys like close yourself, then of course you can save that time for yourself. You guys have multiplied that across 2 or 3 closes. You guys are saving a fuckload of time. Like if you got 3 closes, you're saving 6 hours. And they can now deploy an extra 6 hours a day, which is a lot of fucking time. It's an extra 30 hours a week, right? 120 hours a month, onto other things that can generate more sales for your business, which we'll cover in a sec, okay? So this is the 3C pre-sale VSL formula, okay? It's stacked like this. So the formula for the actual VSL, the pre-call VSL I showed you guys, is what the call will cover, give them the utmost clarity, right? I'll give you guys an example. If something doesn't have clarity associated to it, you're less likely to show up. If someone's like, hey man, let's fucking meet up tonight. Sure, let's do it. And you have other commitments going on. Maybe your wife said, just chill, let's watch a movie together or something like that. And they didn't specifically tell you what they were gonna do. You have no fucking clarity. So you have no incentive to go. But if your friend's like, hey man, let's link up tonight. Let's go to the Porsche event. It's gonna be sick. It's an event that happens once a year. You got clarity, right? So if any other commitments come up around you, you're like, well, got something to go to. You know what I mean? Your prospects are the same. Number 2 is credibility, testimonials, and client results. Abuse your client results. I can't stress this enough, okay? Don't be afraid to rinse them. So again, like you're allowing crucial data to hit their brain prior to them walking into a sales call. You understand? And uncertainty, why this will change their business. Remember, people buy because of the fucking why. You have to constantly resell, re-explain the why if you want your clients to buy. All right? So we've tested this across over 112 book calls, and introducing a pre-call VSL improved show rates by 17%. Because when people watch that video, they're more excited, they have less of a reason to not want to show up, and improved our close rates by 13%.
Sorry, how long before the actual call was this sent to the prospect?
So, best practice for this video, like if the prospect is active, so our setters are trained in a way where they will engage in active conversation with prospects even leading up to the sales call. Because just different stuff. Sometimes it's like completely unrelated to business. They reply to their story, have a conversation with them. But most of the time it's like, hey, what are you looking forward to getting out of this call today, right? And what, why specifically that? So on and so forth. They will just double down.
Do you like provide value potentially?
From time to time. So like I've given my setters like a preset amount of prompts on things that they can add value on. So for example, when my setters look at someone's profile, they know how to critique the living shit out of their profiles and their funnels and so on and so forth. Because I've shown them so many different examples of why funnels suck, and now they have like proven templates to, add value to someone. And they're like, oh, this is like one of the things that we're gonna be breaking down so much more in depth over the call. You understand? Did you have another question?
No.
Okay, what do you think about because you send, 2 or 3 videos maybe? Do you think that they will watch all of them, or I'll be honest, when you sent me the first video, I watched it probably an hour before the call. You reminded me, and I watched it right before the call.
Yeah.
Do you think that they will watch all of them, or is it just to nurture them, to keep up with them?
It depends. So some people will, some people won't. But it's better to use it than it is to not use it. You know what I mean? But the more, again, this is why we kind of like to maintain about a 48 to 72 hour window, because when we maintain that and we have an active conversation with someone in between that window of time, the close rate is so much higher. You know what I mean? And we will typically send as many resources as we can possibly allow. So there's certain prospects that will just tear through the resources. And you can tell they're hyped as fuck for the call, they're ready to go. And we'll just use that time in between to send them more and more resources. You know what I mean?
Would you use that same video for the Zoom pre-waiting room area?
Yeah, and I'm gonna show you another example of it. So it would be similar, right? You can change around the order with editing, but again, just constantly fucking hit their brain with data. You know what I mean?
What do you do if they just don't want to watch your VSL as such?
Then there's a higher likelihood that they're probably not gonna buy.
So would you even go as far as cancelling the call?
No, not at all. Because you don't know until you show up to the call. You know what I mean? Unless they're like, I don't wanna fucking watch it, they have to have a good enough reason as to why.
If, let's say, for example, you send them the VSL, they haven't responded to any of your messages, they do show up on a call, would you actually say, did you watch the call? Did you watch the pre-sale?
Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't say pre-sale video, but did you watch
Yeah, we'd ask them. So, in Calendly, you guys can set up automations and workflows of emails that you want to be sent out to your prospects before the call. So one of the taglines that we have, I should have added this in, is watch this video before the call. And then we send it out. And so,
is it via Calendly or do you use GHL?
Via Calendly.
Why?
We just always set it up like that, I'll be honest. So, in the end of the day, this works incredibly fucking well, right? 2 out of 3 of these people purchased. Oh, okay, this is a different section. This is social proof drip, okay? So of course, we use a lot of social.
Sorry, just one more question.
Yeah.
Do you send these videos via email or via DMs where you speak with them?
Both. Because some people watch it over email and be like, hey, I already watched it over email. And some people watch it over Instagram. You know what I mean? Solid. All right, the next section I want to talk to you guys about is social proof drip. Now, again, this works incredibly, you have a question? All right, this works incredibly fucking well if you have appointment setters, all right? So one thing that we do is we have a fucking screenshot folder for all of our client wins, right? And this folder is distributed across the team. Closers, editors, so on and so forth. The team has access to it, which I'll show you, like a home base that we've built out, which I'll give to you guys as well. But essentially, anytime a client gets a result, like this was when Kennedy smashed 30K in 30 days, one of the more recent wins. But yeah, essentially we just send it out in the chat, right? And our setters are trained to do that. So we actually reference client results. So for example, if we're having a DM convo with someone, and we're like, hey man, what are you struggling with? They're like, oh, like sales. Oh, like our client Kennedy was also struggling with sales. We also helped her with X, Y, and Z. Now she's on 30K in 30 days, send a screenshot. That's fucking sick. So many people are like afraid to do that. But why the fuck would you be afraid to send your own client results? You know what I mean? So we also send them YouTube content relevant to pain. Again, this is all within the pre-sale frame, right? The pre-sale window. So YouTube content relevant to pain. Again, my editor's a fucking G. Mark, he pretty much came onto the team meeting and he said, guys, I've organized a folder with all the videos that relate to specific pain points. Can you guys tell me like what the biggest pain points clients have is? So it was content, YouTube video around content. Let's say it was leads, YouTube video around leads, sales, YouTube video around sales. We just gave that to my setters, and now when my setters have a conversation with someone, they're like, hey, you know, I know that you're struggling with sales. Would you like me to send you a free YouTube video that will help you with that? No strings attached. Some of the stuff I teach within my paid program, gave it out for free. And that's why I said I don't have a fuckload of views on YouTube, but we still weaponize the shit out of it to make more money, right? We're just building more watch time with people.
So it should basically that public video that you've got, you just send it to them and watch.
Yeah.
This may help you.
100%. And then they carry the conversation on. And most of the time, I'll see like a little subscriber notification pop up. So it's good. So frameworks that you guys want to implement, right? Number one is proof of people like them. Okay, this is very, very crucial, right? Screenshot or a 10-second video of a win that matches their niche. For example, if they're a fitness coach, I'll show them one of my good friends and clients, Fabian, who hit over 50K a month with a boxing offer, online boxing coaching, fucking G, right? And it creates relatability and proof. Again, like another thing that most people won't tell you, but elite level advertisers, big companies, like whenever they advertise their stuff, they'll make sure that they have a bunch of different ethnicities in their videos. That's one of the simplest things that they do, right? So they got black people, they got white people, they got Chinese people, you know? They show different ethnicities because they want to show that they cater to different markets. You know what I mean? So phase two is proof of speed and ease, right? So you're gonna have different proof that works for different types of people. So if someone in the conversation, right, your setters are having a conversation with them and their biggest issue or bottleneck is like speed, show them a client result of someone that's been able to achieve something really fast with you. You understand? If it's proof of trust and authority, mastermind clip, right? Obviously, if you don't have mastermind, maybe like a group coaching call, like feedback that you're getting from stuff like that, because it builds a sense of community. And again, we're gonna go over 5 different buyer types later on, where you guys will see how to cater to different types of buyers, all right? Phase 4 is personal touch and relevance, right? So again, this is like, hey man, I know that you specifically struggle with this, which is exactly why I wanna send you a resource that will help you with this. So a good example is like a few years ago, Carson, when I was having a conversation with Carson, he popped up to one of my stories. He opted in through one of my ManyChat sequences. And the ManyChat sequence automated and asked him, hey man, what's your biggest fucking struggle? And he goes, well, sales. I was like, cool man. I have a mastermind replay from last year that covers specifically sales, conversions, and VSLs. Would you like me to send it over? Fuck yeah, man. Send it over to him. Afterwards, he booked the call. He piffed, right? So build a proof bank, a folder with 15 to 20 wins, categorized by niche, problem type. Create 3 to 5 pre-written DM templates linked to each proof type, okay? So what I mean by that is like, if somebody's a fitness coach, you can tell your setters like, all right, here's how you speak to a fitness coach, right? So you have pre-written DM templates that cater to your audience. And most of you guys are gonna know who your audiences are anyways. If someone's stuck at like the 20K a month mark, they know how to cater to someone at the 20K a month mark, right? And the cool thing is once you do that once and you spend a few hours building like a really, really good setting script, that's a high fucking leverage activity because that's gonna be deployed across thousands of messages over the next couple of months, right? So we constantly reinvent our DM script or add new things to it, which makes it very easy for our setters to incorporate. So you can schedule auto send messages via ManyChat. I personally don't recommend it. I think manual is much, much better. And end each message with micro CTAs, like, hey man, watch this before our call. It's gonna be very helpful because of X reason.